Welcome back to Vehicle Testing in GTA. I'm your host, Primo. Up next, we're going to test one of my favorite cars. This is the Obey 9F. Now, if you look at this on Legendary Motorsports, you may be a little bit shocked to find the price at a paltry $120,000. And as far as I'm concerned, that is a huge discount, especially if you raced in the early days when GTA came out. Secretly, this is a very fun car. No, it probably won't win any car shows, but it definitely made a statement. The unfortunate thing about all the vehicles of entry-level GTA was that the upgrades were just pitiful at best. You maybe had a wing and you had some exhaust. Most of the tuning you did was really because you wanted to race. And this is where the 9F kind of got a handful, especially when it came to racing anything with turns. This is not an easy car to drive, and I think a lot of people were very turned off by that and may have traded in their 9Fs very early, especially since it was a very awesome and fun-looking car. Unfortunately, if you turned it in, you would not have realized that this is a very fast car in a straight line for the sports class. And unfortunately, if you did that, you may have gotten a wake-up call. Still, with all that, it is a very loved race car by any of the true race car drivers out there. So what I want to do right now is I want to test it, kind of go over the details of, what made this car powerful, and really a lot of the downfalls that it had, and how we got some of the better of those people out there that really underestimated this car. So let's get to the testing right now. This is Grape Seed Circuit. This is where we test acceleration, handling, braking. This kind of track right here was actually the style of race for many of the early races. Even if you race something as simple as criminal records or down the drain, most of the racetracks had some sort of turns and were not very, let's say, straight line heavy. Route 68 ended up being a more popular race. But again, this car was a lot more of a handful in those races. So this car had really good acceleration, but like I said, it was a big handful, and you're going to see it here that it really was a very nimble car, very loose in the turns, and it's very hard to get your hands around it to try to grasp it and try to figure out how it would run and how it would be faster. So if you tested it, you might have said, whoa, this is not a very good car. And that was the thing is it would trick lazy drivers into thinking that it wasn't. They traded in and they pick something more sure-footed like an Elegy RH8. The truth is that this car was really fast. It's only a couple of tenths of seconds off of a Feltzer and an Elegy, and it'll even outrun an Otter when it comes to Grape Seed. The trick to this car is really that the handling window is so thin and it wants to get up to speed very fast. And unfortunately, that means that if you mix in that handling and braking with this car are so tight that window is very tough to get in with, it becomes a recipe for disaster. It gets itself into trouble very fast. Still, all said and done, once you had got an angle on it, you were going to be very fast. And in fact, if those other racers didn't have the steadfastness that they needed to, there's a good chance that you could outrun them on the 9F. Still, no matter what you do, this will keep you on your toes, and it's going to take time to get consistent to understand racing. But once you dial it in, it becomes a very nimble car, and you start realizing that those problems that it has are actually benefits. Unfortunately, when the Massacro came out, it took this car to the bank, and since then it's simply been a collector car. But those of us who do have this car happily enjoy taking it back on the track and running it through the motions, and it is a joy to drive. Next up is a Route 68, and wow, this is where this car is going to shine. This is where it really tricked people, and the tracks that I really kind of bring to fruition is stuff like Long Haul or Route 68 or certain tracks that really just allowed this thing to get up to speed and kind of stretch its legs. And this is where it was 2 seconds faster on this track than any of the entry-level sports cars that came out with GTA. it really was that fast, and it may have tricked people into thinking that you were kind of cheating the track. Like, they had probably taken it before and said, wow, this car really seemed to not do well, but once it got the ability to get up to speed, it was a totally different monster. And it'll take you by surprise. Unfortunately, today with HSW and other cars, it's 20 seconds slower. And that's kind of the unfortunate thing about it, is that a lot of these cars have taken away from the glory of the 9F. And still, it is a great car. It's a fun car. Like I said, I really love the nimbleness of it. But like everybody says, it can be a handful. So just be prepared for it and use it in the right areas. Like I said, unfortunately now, though, it's pretty much a collector car. Going down, this is where we test the off-road capabilities of the 9F, and this is where everything kind of falls apart. All those handling issues that it had before come to bear miserably on the dirt. This car is definitely not made for dirt. It will try to get up to speed very fast, and when it does, it doesn't want to turn. So it will get into a corner, basically want to hit something that will knock it loose and then spin out. It really never has a chance to take any of the benefits that it has and apply them to a dirt setting. Even with someone who has good ability, you're probably going to crash pretty often if you hit a patch of grass or something that has a different kind of setting for its grip. It'll just turn the car around, and it will actually do a full 360-degree turn before it's all over. Yeah, so even if you're more careful, it's still a handful. So it's a second off any expected competition, and for the best car, which when it comes to the sports class for off-road, it's kind of a broken class, and the fastest car is 12 seconds faster a lap than the best. So take that in mind if you ever plan on taking it off-road. This may be a place where you say the 9F needs to stay home. The conclusion is pretty simple. The 9F is not going to win races today. It is probably not going to win car shows. It may win a cosplay show if you want to dress it up like the Wraith. But for overall things, it's really just a car for your collection now. The truth is, though, there was a time when this car was absolutely worth getting your hands on. It was absolutely worth mastering it. And it was absolutely worth taking other players to task with some of their other cars, like the Feltzers and the RH8s, and even some of the Massacros, when people really wanted to show, hey, this is what this car will do. In the hands of a capable driver, this was a very fun car. And people today still, every time we take out a different event, you hear people saying, hey, we're going to have it in this zone, and they really jump into their 9Fs real quick and throw them out on the track and have a lot of fun with them, and it's definitely worth doing. So if that's something you guys do, more power to you. And again, it comes back to the chance of, I'd love to go back to the days when we would have these races and all of a sudden you'd see somebody pull out a 9F and just pull away from the competition. And I have to say that was kind of really worth it for the time, because the 9F only had its kind of one-trick pony thing, if you will, but it was very good at other things, and it tricked people. And that was the cool thing about it, is you had to love the car to be the best. And today, with the new 10F and 10F wide body coming out, I think it's important for us to remember where that history came from and where we're headed from the future, because we have tested that 10F, and I think you're going to be shocked to see the numbers when it comes to bear. So we're going to have that out. So if you have some chump change, because literally $120,000, that's nothing, go out and pick up a 9F and throw it around the track a little bit. Absolutely nobody that knows and loves the car will judge you poorly for seeing that on the track, and some of them might actually salute you. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We're going to have more testing. That 10F is already recorded. We're going to have that very soon, and we hope you'll tune in. We'll see you then. You guys have a great day. Bye.